Okay.
Are we live?
I
We are
think
live.
we're live. Oh, we're live.
Yay!
Hello.
Some technical difficulties, but like some people
Yeah.
thought we were going live earlier, but we weren't.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
8 p.m. Eastern. Live earlier. I got to make
Right
sure
now.
they're.
We're live now. It's
Yep.
great. It's nice to see you again, Scott. Happy New Year.
Nice to see you, Jenna. Happy New Year to you. Hopefully, you had a good weekend and a good Christmas as well.
Yeah, it was a nice and quiet at home, just like I like it, kind of holiday. So just got to stay in pajamas for 4 days and it was great. So it was great.
Yeah.
So I hope you had a good one too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every holiday, every weekend, every holiday is good.
There you go. Yeah, every weekend's a good weekend.
Yep.
I like that. I like that
You get to
attitude.
you get to watch movies, old movies, and come up with quotes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you done any like movie watching homework?
And
Oh my gosh.
no.
All right. Well, I'll extend your due date. All right. So yeah, this is our first outdoor preview tasting of 2022. Very exciting. We are going to be tasting through 6 different whiskeys tonight, which I guess is a great way to start a new year. And I'm excited because we have some flavor profiles that I really enjoy that we don't see very often. And yeah, I'm super stoked for that. So
And we have 6 of 12. There'll be 12 coming out tomorrow, so we've got half of them.
we're tasting we are tasting half of them. You are correct. It didn't sound like as much just by saying 6, but when you're like, oh, we're tasting half the outturn, it
Half of
sounds
the
a little
outcome.
more exciting.
Scott is
All right.
blurry, but not Jenna, says Dale Barbu. Hopefully, that was just my camera out of focus. It's kind of bouncing around, or is it my internet speed? What does it look like?
I don't know. You're just,
Right.
you look, yeah, just out of focus, I guess, for me at least.
All right. Give me a second while you talk and let me fix something here.
All right, perfect. All right, give it a go. All right, well, while Scott is tending to his technical difficulties, I did want to say hi to everyone in the comments. Gosh, we have the whole crew here. It's so nice to see you all. Every time it's like, oh, they're gonna get sick of us and never come and hang out with us anymore, but you all continue to show up, and it's really awesome. And it's a really fun time to see all of you guys here. So Pickley Dew is here. Robert G is here from Massachusetts. Hello, Brian Baumstein. Haven't talked to you in quite some time. We have Daniel H, Daniel Duggar, Adam Clary. We have Dale. How's it going, Dale? And Pickley Dew. I don't know if it would be an outturn without Pickley Dew, so it's good to see you as well. And Steve and Phil and yeah. I guess a lot of people are in snow. Pickley Dew says, I can finally pour a dram tonight during the live stream as I am not at work due to the snow. Well, we're glad that you can join us tonight. So I guess snow is a good thing for some people. And yeah, John's here. How's it going, John? And Wyatt. Oh my gosh, like the whole crew's here. This is awesome. Pam's here. Jeez, the whole crew. All right, did you get your issues fixed? You think, Scott? Oh, now Scott's frozen. Oh.
All right. Am I back?
Well, I can see you, but you're there. I can see you. Perfect now. You're
Okay,
back.
good.
It looks like you were in like a rocket ship, like flipping switches and stuff. I was just waiting
There
for
was
you to take off.
there was one important step I forgot to do before going live, and that's hardwiring in, which I should have done. I know better now.
Oh, well, welcome back. And John says your shirt is very 70s. Is that a hint about the outturn? Yes. Every whiskey that we're having tonight is from the 1970s,
Ooh,
and we just thought we'd
wow.
start off, to the. I'm kidding.
That would be
I'm
nice.
kidding. It would be, but we're saving those for special occasions. All right. Well, so we have a few surprises kind of throughout the night, and we'll kind of fill you in on all of those as we pace along. But I'm ready to get started. How about you, Scott?
Yep, I'm ready. So we've got 6. The first one we were looking at is from our Young and Sprightly profile. If I can get it to focus there. 7-year-old Highland Spring Meadow squeezing session. It's 26.174. 62.4% from a first fill ex bourbon barrel.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm dropping things. I'm having technical difficulties too. I'm forgetting to do things too.
So I did tell Jenna before we went live, I got a different note from this one. I don't know if I've gotten it from any whiskeys before, but I haven't told her what that is, and I'll see if she gets it as well. And I hate to almost suggest it to her because I think she'll always be
Don't suggest it.
Once I suggest it, you'll get it, and then you'll be like, the power of suggestion.
All right. Well, now that we have all of our technical difficulties out of the way, let's dig into. All right, here it is. First one.
Again, 26.174 Spring Meadow squeezing session. Young and Sprightly.
I smell Spring Meadows and squeezing sessions. Oh, yeah. Is that the weird note you got too?
No.
Oh, all right.
I do get a white chocolate raspberry cheesecake.
Oh.
Amidst it's light citrus, light vanillas, light oaks here, but a white chocolate raspberry cheesecake did come out at me.
White chocolate.
But that's not the weird note yet.
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to type it in the comments so those watching will know what I'm referencing.
All right. Oh, I can't look.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. It's very bright. It is very spring-like. It definitely has there is like a nice floral kind of note, almost like a jasmine, honeysuckle kind of note that I'm getting. Citrus, I can definitely get that.
And that's probably what led me to this note, is just because of how refreshing and kind of spring-like it smells. It's kind of a refreshing.
I could see like a lemon raspberry pound cake, or like kind of, like a lemon drizzle. Yeah, I could definitely kind of see that. It's a little sherbety.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably where I'm getting the white chocolate raspberry cheesecake at. You're getting the pound cake.
Okay, can I like my cursor is actually over your comment, so I can't see it. So I'm gonna move it.
See if you can
cucumber water. What the
heck? I know. I've never gotten it before, and now I'm still getting it sitting here now.
Okay, yes. It is very Bath and Body Works 1998 cucumber melon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm kind of actually getting that vibe. Okay. Whew. Smells like high school.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna give it a taste. Cheers. And I mean, we're gonna start now, before I taste this, we're kind of starting off with a bang at 62.4% ABV. And for the record, almost everything we're tasting tonight, outside of one, is in the 60+%. So
yeah. We have one.
I brought water with me.
We've got one that's 58%, and then everything else is up into the 60s, and the lowest being the 62.4. So it's going to be a good one.
Oh, that's nice. I'm getting like pound cake and flowers and that like jasmine type of, I don't know why I'm getting that both on nose and palate, but I'm definitely getting more of that like jasmine, honeysuckle, like pound cake. I mean, it really does. It tastes and smells like springtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big
For a
time.
7-year-old, very nice. A lot of fruits, light oaks,
Big time.
citrus, vanilla. I can't get cucumber water out of my head. Probably a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of a vegetal note in there that's causing it, or just a little bit of
Yeah.
or maybe it's the combination of the malt with the fruits. But for 62.4%, it drinks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Taste it with a little bit of water.
Yeah, a lot of the spices are on there as well. From your pound cake, from cheesecake, those kind of spices, and graham crackers, cinnamon.
I can see where you're getting that almost vegetal note. It's on the finish for me though. Almost like I don't want to say like the feeling, because when I think of I love cucumbers, so like cucumbers for me are like big and like juicy and like really bright on the palate. I'm getting more of like a celery, like after you eat a piece of celery, like that aftertaste.
Yeah.
The finish is kind of like that's like a little dry, which I actually really like.
Yeah.
And water. Whoa. Bill asked if that Bath and Body Works was next to Glamour Shots. Yes, and I feel really old. You would wear like the sequined top with a matching hat, and oh man.
Bill Monteith is talking to Adam Clary, but he says 26 is his favorite distillery for indie offerings. It's too bad they don't do more core range offerings.
Yeah,
that is true.
really
I mean, I only know of one, and I think I've seen a distillery, only expression from 26. But I don't know what other core offerings are there from 26 besides the 14. Is it is a 14 year?
So with water, it changed like drastically for me. So almost I'm getting like a rose water kind of note on the nose when I added water. Like that floral underbody of this just really explodes on the nose for me. And actually adding a little water made this a little more viscous on the palate for me than it was neat. Like all those oils are just really starting to kind of stick to my palate, which I mean, this distillery is known for that. I mean, prized waxiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say with water, it's definitely became more penetrating on the palate. I mean, it really like it's soaking into your taste buds more.
Oh, yeah.
Even the back of my tongue now, I can kind of feel like it's still amplifying back there, building, and in my gums as well. That's very nice.
It's like sticky.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. And it's funny. I wanted to read because this distillery is, I can't say where it's from, but it's just known for being this kind of big wax bomb. And I had Charlie McLean's Wikipedia on my desk, which is a great book if you don't have it. This is not a plug. It's just me telling you that if you like whiskey and if you like learning about whiskey, it's a great book to have. So he says that, I'm going to just read it straight from the book. So I've never heard this before, so I'd love to know if any of you out there have heard this before. But it says, until recently, it was a mystery where this prized waxiness came from. A full investigation was prompted by a temporary change in spirit character, and it was discovered that the characteristic was contributed by deposits of greasy matter, which built up in the receivers and piping. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never heard this. So, but Charlie's saying it. So its temporary absence was on account of the piping having been cleaned when a receiver was replaced. Such are the mysteries of where flavor comes from in malt whiskey. So are we getting that waxy, beautiful profile that so many people love from greasy pipes? I don't know.
I mean, it's a reliable source. I've never heard that. So, I mean, I have
Me
no
neither.
not to trust that. I mean, I'm sure that's pretty accurate, probably.
Yeah. I just thought when I was reading through that, I was like, that is so interesting. It's like it's always fun, especially when you're in whiskey all day and you're absorbing as much facts and information and education as you can to learn something new. So I thought I'd share that. So Merv Tone says, love me a good greasy matter note. I'm with you. I do too.
Yeah, I mean, that's an odd one. Kind of like cucumber water. That's a weird note too.
Cucumber water and greasy matter. If those are your cups of tea, this whiskey is for you. But yeah, I definitely I prefer this with a little bit of water. It just really opens up, and you get those really big, just beautiful, vibrant floral notes on the nose. At least for me, and the palate is just sticky and gooey, and everything that you love about this distillery. So
I still added even a second dash of water on it, and I mean, it hasn't harmed it at all. It's still as much of a mouthfeel as it was.
That is a delicious way to start off this.
I was going to say that's a good one to start with for sure.
It is, and young and sprightly, which I mean, we don't see those too often. And I remember, gosh, when I first got into society, I love this flavor profile. I think it for a few different reasons. I always get this like bubblegum kind of note on so many of the whiskeys in this flavor profile, and it's just it's also a profile that goes to show you that age is really just a number. I mean, there's some stellar whiskeys that have completely blown me away that have been young and sprightly, and I think it's definitely not one to overlook. So,
Bill Monteith says that's why I never clean my oven. All that old grease gives a subtle quality to his cooking.
See, it's a science. It is not a myth. So, fun fact of the week. All right, where are we going now?
Are you ready for the curious situation?
Ooh, yes.
Is that next?
That is next. And in this flavor profile that we don't see very often.
Curious situation. If it focuses there, we go 78.46. 11-year-old Highland, first fill ex-bourbon barrel, spicy and dry profile, 64% ABV.
This distillery is always a treat. So I'm very excited to taste this. I haven't tasted any of these. So this is my first time tasting. I've opened them just so they get to breathe a little bit, but I have not tasted any of these. So this is my first time giving any of these a go. And this actually is my first, these are my first whiskeys of the new year.
To drink?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've had a couple.
I didn't celebrate with whiskey. So, I mean, we had one, I guess, on New Year's Eve, but that was last year.
That's right. That was so last year.
It was so last year. I haven't had any whiskey, so.
78.46. If you haven't tried Distillery 78, it's a must try distillery, I think.
I agree with you completely.
I mean, I love the whiskeys I've had from there. I mean, independent bottlings and even some of their, what you call, they don't necessarily, I know they have a core range, but a couple of their offerings that the distillery has offered have just been phenomenal, I think.
I agree with you completely. And I'm very excited to see this distillery in this flavor profile, spicy and dry, which we don't see too often.
Yeah.
So I only have, I have a bunch of society whiskey here, and I have 5 total spicy and dries.
Oh.
That's it. Just 5.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be my sixth one.
I told quite a few people, I think it was the 1st of December's Outturn, the Happy Ponderer. I recommended to a few people to try because that was in the spicy and dry. I can't remember what cask number it was, but it was very surprising. I really liked it. Really
Yeah,
delicious.
we've had a few over the years that have really stood out to me, and like they're up there, all the ones that I've just been like slowly going through because I don't want to let them go.
I do want to see, I was telling you beforehand, a sherry cask 78. Because I think I've got two from the SMWS, and they're both, I believe, just ex-bourbon.
Ex-bourbon, yeah.
Which is, I mean,
Well,
still
maybe
good.
2022 will rain down the sherry 78 just for you.
No, I will tell you, I think 78 blind, I would think was a Campbelltown whiskey. There can be a little bit of a funk that kind of shows up in Distillery 78 that some people like and some people don't like. But I think blind, I might think Campbelltown region on 78.
The palate on this, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is outstanding. Wow. It's almost savory. I'm almost getting like a savory, like, I don't know. It's like chicken pot pie almost. That's crazy.
I got an ashy vanilla right up front. I don't know what made it ashy. Basement funk. Berries are buried in there underneath some powdered sugars and some furniture varnish. Those are weird notes.
Wow. Those are great notes. Okay, I'm gonna follow suit. So nose. The nose on this is like, I almost get like a, oh man, this is tough.
Yeah, I skipped the nose. I just went to the palate, I guess, didn't I?
Yeah, the note, because nose and palate don't really match on this. At least for me, they don't. So like, I'm getting like, like there's this like weird, like wet, like wood or like cardboard kind of note on it. And I like really like it. And then there's like sweetness. There's like a honeyed. It's like, yeah, okay. I can't get the chicken pot pie thing out of my head. It's like a chicken pot pie that's made with like a honeyed crust. And then like you have like a nice little apple, like green apple kind of like compote on the side. So it's basically a child's TV dinner, chicken pot pie, stewed apples, and some type of dessert, but I can't put my finger on what it is yet.
I don't know if I'm getting chicken pot pie, but I'll go along with you.
It just reminds me, I don't know, it like that first sip I took was savory. There was like a savory kind of note on that with like, I don't know why it just makes me
Yeah,
think of that.
I think there is with this distillery and some of that funk. It's kind of a savory, meaty, chewy, just goodness really that's in it. But the nose to me is malty. It's grassy. I've got a tangy, sour funk, almost Sour Patch Kids type funk.
So good.
Yeah, light citrus on the nose is buried in there beneath it all. But yeah.
I can definitely get that like grassy element. There's definitely a grassy element to it. Mm. The Mash and Drum says, Hungry Man TV dinner whiskey being eaten in a dingy basement, sign me up.
What's up, Jason? Woo. Yeah, I mean, tangy, funky, ashy, vanilla. Maybe it's your chicken pot pie that's got a little bit of a burnt crust on it.
Yeah.
It was
There's definitely like, it's meaty. It's definitely a meaty, like hearty kind of whiskey. Like there's nothing like thin or just like, it is just a powerful, meaty kind of whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man, and the nose is becoming like a little more sweeter as I just continue to kind of keep my nose in the glass. but like big honey notes for me, like honeyed crust, like pastry crust, or like pie crust.
I think the berries are in there. They're buried. The berries are buried
The
underneath
berries are buried.
the funk and the savoriness. Uh, More of that citrus sweetness, sugary.
Yeah. I'm getting more, as far as fruit goes, I'm getting apple, like big apple notes on this.
Yeah.
And Pickly Dew said, I had a Thanksgiving stuffing ice cream last night, and it was strangely sweet for the cream and cornbread, but savory from the rosemary. That is a great example of what this whiskey is for me. It's like there's like a little bit of sweetness in there, like from that apple that I'm getting on the nose. And then there's like the herbal, there's like a savory quality to it. I think that is spot on. That's a spot on kind of example or explanation of what exactly this whiskey's giving me. Really freaking good.
John Kroll is asking, he said, would this be a good choice for my next whiskey food pairing dinner? And if so, what would you pair it with?
Hmm.
This is a main course pairing. This is a meat, a pork, chicken. Well, there's your chicken pot pie. Steak, anything along those lines. But
These would pair nicely with, my husband he just smoked Cornish hens on the Traeger a couple nights ago. And we got the skin like really nice and crispy, and there were lots of herbs, lots of just really good stuff in there. And this whiskey would be just like heaven paired with those Cornish hens. So yeah, this is so good. Very
whiskey,
excited about this.
whiskey chicken. It was a little ways back. He asked, "Are there any whiskeys from Campbelltown in the pipeline?" There are not from this distiller or from this outturn. But
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't hear me say this, 78, any distillery 78 to me blind would come off as Campbelltown because there's a little bit of funk that's in there. And I think blind, I would confuse 78 with a Campbelltown whiskey. I don't know if anybody else is watching that agrees with that, but
Yeah,
this one I think carries that through. If I had this bottle right here blind, I would probably be thinking Campbelltown.
yeah, there is definitely like a different, you said funk. There is like a little funk to this for sure. And for me, like I usually get funk with loaded whiskeys. I always like kind of describe them that way. I always get like a creamy, just like I don't know. It's just a funk. I mean,
Yeah.
there's lots of funks out there. I don't know exactly which kind it is, but there's definitely like a funk to it. But yeah, I can definitely see like totally tasting this blind and
There was one,
guessing yourself.
the Scotch Four Dummies had gotten a sample of this distillery it was a independent lean, and I believe it had been sherry casked, or no, it was sherry casked, but they got it, and this was a couple years ago, and none of them liked it. They thought the person was playing a joke on them, and really thought, I mean, just didn't agree with any of their palates. And so I was like, well, I told them, I said, send it to me and let me try it. I want to see what this, world's worst
Yeah.
whiskey is. And so they did. And I was live with them, and I'm sitting there and I taste it, and I'm like, holy, that's good. And they're like, oh, you're messing with us. I'm like, oh no, there's notes of sherry in there. I go, there's a little bit of funk. I'm like, this is good whiskey. And they thought I was messing with them. So I think it's one of those that's some people, like one of those distilleries and some don't. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's good stuff.
Yeah, this is outstanding. I really love like the intensity of it, neat. Like
Mhm.
it's rich, like it is rich and meaty and like hearty and like it's a meal in a bottle kind of whiskey.
Mm.
And I feel like I added some water to it, and I feel like with water, I'm almost getting more sweetness out of it, like vanilla, like cream kind of sweetness that I wasn't getting neat. So water for me brought forward a lot more sweetness. Whereas meat, it's just like powerful and meaty and just like stick to your ribs kind of. kind of whiskey.
Now, isn't that the one though? Earlier today, you said your husband was sipping on, and he was
No,
on fire.
no, we're getting there.
Oh,
Yeah, he tasted these. Well, he only tasted one of them before me. But yeah, if he had tasted this one, I don't know if I would have gotten the bottle back because that's outstanding. Very good whiskey. And I honestly don't find it to be that dry. You know,
no.
even though it's in the spicy and dry flavor profile, I find it to be like just more viscous and like just gooey on the palate, whereas I was expecting for like usually in spicy and dry flavor profile, I get the dryness a lot like on the finish, on the back end. And I wasn't finding it a lot in that whiskey.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely spicy.
Yes.
It was probably the closest profile they could get, for it. So it's kind of on its own.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a rogue whiskey. I don't really know where like I would place that in a flavor profile. Yeah, that's interesting. I would not put that in any of the flavor profiles, so I guess it would have to go in spicy and dry. Interesting.
All right.
Well,
I'll let
shall we continue?
Yep, I'll let you introduce the next one. Are we doing romantic Tiffany Blue next?
We are. We are going full romance at this point. And all right, so the next one that we will be tasting is in our juicy oak and vanilla flavor profile. And this is called Romantic Tiffany Blue. And this is a 12-year Speyside and Purcell X bourbon. And this is at 62.8% ABV. And cask number is 113.45. See if mine will work. Great name.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the society, we've had a few lately of the 113s. I think there was a couple left on the last drops.
Yeah,
this is the first 113 I've had from the society. I've had one other independent bottling of 113.
really? Oh, this is exciting. Yeah, we've actually released, I have a couple of them actually on the shelf here. But we've released quite a number actually of the 113s. They were the older 20 plus whiskeys that we've had, and they were just, I mean, beautiful, like absolutely just stunning whiskeys, and they went pretty quickly. So if you've been kind of itching to taste this distillery, this is a great opportunity to do so. At 120, I know some of the ones we've released in the past are a little higher on the price range, but this is a great opportunity to taste just really how magnificent this distillery is. So I'm excited to taste this.
And 62.8%.
Yes.
Rocking those 60s.
We are 3 for 3 in the 60 percenters, so.
So Robbie Robson asked, he says, out of curiosity, are number 2 and 113 actually the same distillery? No, they are not.
No.
113 is a distillery that's in the region, the Glenlivet region, I guess you would say.
Yes. So I think at one time there were 36 different distilleries that had the Glenlivet name attached at the end of their distilleries. So like Macallan Glenlivet, and I know there are a couple others, but there are only 3 now that can even, I guess, continue to have that attached to their name. So yeah. Ooh.
I had a saltiness jump out at me at first, and I had to think I had the right glass. I wasn't expecting a saltiness. Floral.
It's very effervescent on the nose.
Perfumey. Would you say perfumatic?
Ooh.
A little spice. Yeah. Interesting.
It always reminds me of like when you pour champagne and like that smell of when a freshly poured champagne. That is what this nose is reminding me of.
Kind of jumping out at you there.
I'm
Jumping out.
getting like a lot of white grape, like grape juice, like Welch's grape juice.
Yeah.
There is definitely a salty note to this, though.
Citrus
Almost
fruit.
reminds, like the smell of a margarita with the salt rim.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Little lime as well. And almost a little bit of that, like that tequila nose, or just maybe
Yes.
even like a,
Yes.
not tequila. What's the other?
Mezcal?
Mezcal. That's what I was almost like a little, it's probably the saltiness and the lime. Yeah, it's like a little mezcal. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. And not something that I would expect in this flavor profile.
Yeah.
So,
let's see.
All right, well, tally ho.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely citrus and vanilla. Vanilla and oak. Woo.
Spicy.
You're sitting in the field. The flowers are blooming around you. The wind's blowing, and you're picking up the grass herbal notes of the field, the floral, the vanillas, the citrus. The sunshine. That's really, I mean, it's a really nice palette.
I'm on vacation. Keep going. Like you've totally taken me somewhere.
I mean, it's lighter, but it's refreshing. It's upfront. I mean, it's vanillas, it's citrus, it's oak, grassy. I was trying to think. There's a little bit of tropical notes, little bit on the tail end coming in. Some of the papaya and some of the mango, a little bit, not much.
I'm getting like this reminds me of like I remember as a kid, like going up to, Helen up in North Georgia, and we would always go in and get this like saltwater taffy. And this reminds me of like a tropical saltwater taffy store, like in the mountains of like Switzerland, where there's like it's kind of wet and dewy, and there's like flowers just blooming everywhere, and it's like that really just like vibrant. I'm getting a lot of that vanilla and that like oak profile, but I'm getting more of that like tropical, like laffy or saltwater taffy,
Yeah.
and more of those, like you said, the fields. I'm thinking like the mountains. It's really nice. There's almost in the end, I'm almost getting like a chocolate note on the end, like a white chocolate note. Like as I'm talking, I can taste this just like little whisper of white chocolate. This is wild.
How about coconut? Would you put a little coconut on that white chocolate? Some shreds, some little
Yeah.
barbs of
Like
coconut.
the saltwater taffy has like coconut on the little outside. It's dusted in coconut. Whew, that is good. That is really good. Really, really, really good.
Maybe we should add some water to it.
Oh gosh, yeah, we should. Actually, I really like this meat.
Yeah. There's some good notes coming out on that one for sure.
Yeah, I feel like this is a whiskey that you could sit with for a while and just pull out like, a library full of notes.
Not a real in-depth finish or not a long and strong finish on it. It is lighter. It's still there. And then just as I say that, I definitely get a nice oak note that just kicked in at the back of my tongue and back in here.
Okay. With water, and I'm not adding a lot of water. I mean, I don't have a lot in my glass, and I'm adding very little water, but with water, this is a pastry shop. I mean, like full, just pastry shop. So there's a pastry shop next to the saltwater taffy shop in the mountains of Switzerland. And neat, you're at the saltwater taffy shop. You're just shoving all those tropical taffies and just enjoying them. And then you're like, this is a little too much. And you go next door to the bakery, to the pastry shop, and then you just stuff your gullet with all of those delicious pastries. Because with water, this is like vanilla cream pie, and like, I mean, the texture changed so much for me with a little bit of water.
I was right with you on the pastries. Are kind of a small, like a little long john, but they're stuffed with have the whipped cream.
Yeah, like an eclair almost.
An eclair. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe that's where that chocolatey note was coming in. Oh, this is good. Like, the more I sit with this, I'm like, okay, some 13. Coming out swinging, jeez. That is so good. Oh, all right. Yeah, so that distillery, I think, is a little underrated. So I think that if you have not tried anything from 113, I think, again, this is a great opportunity to do so.
You bet.
Because this definitely, keeps up with a lot of those older ones. This is really stunning.
That's really too. I mean, from the 78 before this one, though, I mean, that's really almost, even though the 78 wasn't sherry cask, it's enough of that spicy and dry profile, and this being that juicy oak and vanilla profile. It's like opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Total opposite.
But very nice, beautiful.
Yeah. This one was just like the one before. This one like almost like quenched your thirst in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it was so big and juicy and like just mouth-watering on the palate. So wow, that was a fun first 3. And we still have 3 more to go. Oh gosh.
We're up for the I don't know if you want to say the better half, the second half. The 7th inning stretch is where we're at.
Speaking of better halves, I should have him come in and introduce this next whiskey.
Yeah.
Because he tasted it.
You bet.
Yeah, he was just, on cloud 9 for forever. So I'm not calling him in here. He's watching football anyway. All right. So you want to introduce this one while I prepare my glass here? I haven't even poured this yet.
All right. Number 4, Stuck to the Velcro. Cask number 63.80. It's a 9-year-old Speyside from a first fill. It's a double maturation. Initial cask is an ex Oloroso oak butt, and the second cask is a first fill ex Oloroso butt. 66.4% ABV. Outstanding. Now, what baffled me, and I told you, is why is this in the spicy and dry profile? I don't know. 2 casks, both ex Oloroso. I did sample this last night to see. I think it's a good thing, because in that spicy and dry profile, maybe as many people won't look at it, and it's more for us to drink.
So this one, was 7 years in American oak, and then the remaining were in Spanish oak Oloroso. So it's a double butts on this one.
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting. So
Yep.
It is in the spicy and dry profile, but could be deep, rich, and dried fruits.
Okay, but the nose on this is giving me very big spicy and dry vibes.
Really?
Yes. Just by nosing this, I can see spicy and dry all day long. It almost reminds me of like a cask strength rye. Like when you nose a cask strength rye and you get that big kind of spice, and then you're like, well, this is gonna be hot.
Even looking at the color though, and like it's even
It's
standing out more in your glass with your white sweater underneath
so
it. But
pretty.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
get
that is
I get
it's
sherry jumping out at me on the nose. That ex Oloroso cask just reaching up and grabbing the nose hairs.
the nose hairs. This didn't really grab my nose hairs. It just
Caramels, sherry,
definite like caramel, like brown sugar caramel, like brittle and
spice.
big spice.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me like if you made a brittle with rye whiskey. Like take a rye whiskey and make like a caramel brittle with it, and that is what the nose of this would smell like. Whoa. I'm like scared and excited to taste it. All right, well, cheers.
Cheers. Mmm. 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 We can end. Let's leave on a good note.
What the heck? That's not what I was expecting at all. Like at all.
Yeah.
I expected to like breathe fire like a dragon after tasting this. And I mean, I know we've had 3 ahead of this, but this is like not what I was expecting at
Yeah.
all.
This is awesome. This is a great whiskey.
Wow.
Sherry
Okay.
notes. I mean, plums, raisins, dates, figs. It's all jumping right out at you. It's smooth. It's palatable. It's sweet. It's still clinging on.
Big time.
Yeah. Great finish. It's in the gums. It's in the teeth.
It's every nook, every cranny. It's definitely in there. But I'm with you. I'm definitely when you said plums, like I almost got like a figgy kind of
Mhm.
like a warm, like figgy like wine almost. Like
Mm.
it's warm and it's just like dates and figs and like all of those just like rich, beautiful like notes. There's almost like a nice little like balsamic glaze to it I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like this is cherry toothpaste.
And I mean, it hit my palate just when I took the sip, and really, as soon as it hit my palate, I mean, it was still in my mouth. I haven't even swallowed it yet, and I could taste it. I mean, I was sitting there like, I can.
Whoa.
That's it. Yeah.
That is, I mean, of what we have tasted so far, and just looking at this lineup, this is hands down the most surprising whiskey that I've tasted so far. I mean, this is wild. And this distillery I love. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't count on 2 hands like how many casks I've had from this distillery, from the society that have just absolutely just knocked my socks off. I'm always excited to see a 63 come down the pipeline, and this is something just very different. Not that I've tasted like this, at least from this distillery.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I had
yeah,
originally, I think it was a 17-year-old in the dark of the abyss a few years. I think it was 2018, 2019. And it
I
was,
just saw that. It's up here somewhere.
oh yeah, if you got that one was phenomenal. That's a
I
63.
do. And
That
there.
was, I mean, that was another one. It was darker and richer than this one is.
Yeah.
Just a great release. But yeah, this one, and like I said, why is this in the spicy and dry profile? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Very well should be deep and rich dried fruits. But I mean, it is spicy. Yeah.
It is spicy, but like I get more of the spice on the nose than I do the palate. Like the palate to me is more
Yeah.
of that like figgy date, plum, that like mulled wine almost. Like it's more of that kind of profile for me. And I'm not getting big spice at least on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, I was when I saw the bottle and the spicy and dry profile, and then those two caskings both being Oloroso, I was like, I got to try that one for sure before the outturn.
Yeah, this is wild. And with a little water, I mean I know the ABV on this is high, but I think I prefer it without water. Like I get more sweetness, like cherries, like fruit sweetness with water, but I think I almost prefer this without it.
Water brought out the dryness. There's the astringency.
Yeah.
There's the spicy and dry. To me, all those same fruits and sweetness are still there. Woo. And the George Kaplan is asking how the finish is on this one, which is it's very good for a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Both caskings being ex Oloroso. Wow, 66.4%, definite.
And just looking at on paper, it's like you think it's going to be this like monster of a whiskey, and it is in ways, but it's not it's not too much of a monster of a whiskey. Like it is a really nice, there is still that like really nice balance to it where you get that like really beautiful kind of sherry quality, you get that spice quality, and I'm not getting as much dryness on it with water. I get more of like big fruit notes, like fruit leather, cherry, almost strawberry. I get more of that kind of profile with a little bit of water.
Yeah.
So and I saw that Stuart was asking if you're getting any kind of nutty flavors on it. I personally got more of the nuttiness on the nose, like that brittle. I'm getting more fruit, like big fruit on the palate of this.
Yeah. Now I would say generally, sometimes with Oloroso, you will get, kind of that almond, burnt almond or the marzipan type notes.
Yeah.
Nothing has jumped out at me here along those lines. And usually a lot of times with Oloroso, I will get an almond or something along those notes, but I haven't yet. Now it could pop up and show itself, but yeah. With or without water, I liked it both ways. It was for 66.4%. It was very drinkable, neat. It was it had a great palate at 66.4.
Yeah, it really did. And again, I was like a little worried. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like cry or something, taste like the ABV is high, but it really wasn't. Um, it wasn't at all. It was really nice. So, and I do really like that like big fruit, that cherry. I'm getting like big strawberries for some reason. Like even the more I continue to talk, like I can still taste it on my palate with that water, and it's really nice.
I just added my second dash of water. And I think I like it right here. This is actually pretty good. I liked it neat. I liked it with a drop of water. I like it with 2 drops of water.
Yeah.
This is one
So
that you can
fruity though.
obviously, that's one that you can obviously play with, I think, and bring it down to where you like it. Yeah.
One of the great things about cask strength whiskey is that you can tailor it to your liking. And one day maybe you want it at 66.4%, and then maybe the next day you want to add a little bit of water to it. You have options.
Yeah, that one is nice.
Really nice. Really surprising.
Hopefully not underrated. Hopefully this one shows itself well and during the outturn tomorrow and flies off the shelf. It should.
It should. It absolutely should. Great distillery, great whiskey, beautiful cask. So that's a win.
But from that one, now we are
All
going
right.
to deep, rich, and dried fruits.
I feel like we should take a snack break.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. I don't have any with me, but water. So
You have no snacks. Oh. I have a few snacks. They're looking at me. I'm going to resist. All right. So this
grab
next
a
one,
snack if you want to, and I'll introduce this bottle.
just I have jelly babies.
Okay.
I'll open my jelly babies and you can introduce the next one.
Okay. Next up is a Deep Soul. Let's get my camera in there. Come on. There it goes. 14-year-old. Is this Speyside? I can't read it. I don't remember.
Yes, it is a Speyside. Yep.
14-year-old, 41.144. Double casking again. Initial cask is an ex Oloroso American oak butt. Second maturation in a first fill XPX Spanish oak butt. And this is our lowest ABV whiskey of the night at 56.4%.
The nose on this is what?
Now, this one I did not get to pre-live here, so.
Yes, this was 11 years in ex Oloroso American butt, and then the remaining years in that first fill Spanish oak PX butt. So Oloroso PX on this one.
I don't get as much fruit,
Uh-uh.
even sherry notes on the nose on this one as I did
No.
the prior.
I'm getting like leather polish and like there's almost like a industrial like car parts kind of note I'm getting on this.
Now, I mean, they're a little faint.
Whoa.
Is that because we're 10 percentage ABV points below? Yeah, I mean they're still okay. They're there. They're just not as pronounced as they were on the previous whiskey.
Yeah, so I'm definitely I'm not getting like those big fruit. I'm not getting any kind of like brown sugar, any kind of like nutty qualities on this. I'm really just getting like leather or like shoe polish and like just like industrial kind of like mechanics shop almost kind of note. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
There's almost like there's like a slight note of honey baked ham on this.
I'm trying to suss out some of the individualities here, but there's definitely a maltier, lighter nose, fruits, spices, but not as dark nose as, remember what's that, 63, the 63?
Yeah, no, that one was like, for me at least, the 63 was more like sherry character, like you're getting all of those kind of notes. This one, I'm not getting like that, or what you would think you would get from, like, it's so weird, like deep rich and dried fruits on this one, and I'm like, wait a second, like this profile is so different on the nose. I don't know if I would place it in this profile just based off of the nose. And then like the one we just had before, it's like, wait a second, why isn't this a deep rich and dried fruit? So really interesting.
It's sweeter. It's sweeter on the nose. I'm not getting those dark, rich Oloroso notes from the last, but maybe it's the PX has toned it down. It's making it sweeter. There's like an olive. I just got like a martini.
Yes. Olive. You're spot on. I was like, there's something like almost, and I was like, is it vegetal? Is it herbal? It is definitely like a green olive.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, wait, nothing's making sense tonight.
There's your tobacco and leather right up front. Ooh, there's a little ash, a little smoke.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What is happening? Okay, this is crazy. This is ashy and like, this is like sooty almost.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we're being punked or something. Like, they're totally punking us. This is wild.
Yeah, wow. There, I mean,
It
it's
tastes
still
pretty
there.
good.
Still that tobacco, the leather, the smoke, overlying the fruit here. The fruit is definitely there. It's lighter. It's in the background compared to that horse saddle that's sitting on a campfire log. And I'm looking for my PX notes. I'm not necessarily finding them yet. They could show up here. But that leather, tobacco juice, and smoke is
Yeah.
forefront.
I mean, this is like cowboy whiskey,
Yeah.
right? Like, this makes me think of like the Wild West, and you're on horseback and you haven't showered in 8 months and you're camping by a fire and it's like sooty and ashy and you kind of smell like the fire, and then you're getting that like you said, that like horse's saddle, that leather soap, that tobacco. Like, this is wow.
I'm getting
Was not expecting that.
I got some raspberries and some strawberries in there. They were faint. They're masked a little bit. But they're in there. That was nice. Yeah, this is definitely 56%, the lowest one for us tonight. It's very drinkable, neat. I'm going to add some water here and see what happens.
There is a fruit, but I'm getting like, what is that? It's like chestnutty almost for me. Like roasted chestnuts and like rhubarb. Wow. 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 Did you see Warren's comment about your Pog Slammer?
Yeah.
I had so many Pogs growing up.
So a lot of whiskey channels sell those now, or even, Instagram account people, stuff like that. Just they work as a glass topper, really kind of help capture the nose. You can put them on there, and it kind of helps concentrate the aromas and then take them off. Ooh, get your nose.
Oh, I do have mine. I do have one. Mine's like vintage at this point, I think.
That what?
I gotta dig it out of my coin for you guys. I gotta dig that out. Yeah. I put that sucker on eBay, make like millions of bucks because it's vintage.
I see Eric Wade is tuning in. He says leather, tobacco juice, and raspberry. Sounds like breakfast. You betcha.
Yeah, and Merv Tones mentioned that this sounds like more old and dignified than deep rich and dried fruits, and I could see that. I could totally see, like, it's definitely those vibes.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So
I mean, it is a 14-year-old, but you could think this was a 20, 21, 22-year-old whiskey. Pretty easy.
This would be interesting to put in a blind tasting and just kind of see what people have to say about it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is weird and wonderful and not anything like I was expecting at all. That like ashy sooty note on it is like really, really surprised me.
That's got to be all from the sherry casks though, and that PX butt, because I don't think that distillery, 41 necessarily does a meaty profile whiskey They're usually lighter, citrusy, aren't they?
Yeah, I've never had one from this distillery that gives off those like meaty kind of hearty profiles. Um, so yeah, this is like literally everything that we've tasted, and the fact that the last whiskey is what it is, which like this whole lineup is like a total mind bleep of a lineup. I mean, it is definitely not what I was expecting, and I went into it thinking I'm gonna at least get X, Y, and Z out of this, just on paper and knowing what we know, and then it's like, well, you're not. We're gonna completely turn this around, and you're gonna get things that you never thought you'd get, and it's happened. So.
Yeah, Mash and Drum says it's a really interesting outturn so far. Cool profiles from cool distilleries.
Like, really cool.
So I added a second dash of water. I just wanted to see here what I got. First dash of water was still good. I didn't notice that much difference other than just kind of taming down the ABV bite. But with 2 drops, I was just going to see it kind of open it up, maybe bring out some more of those sherry or even PX notes.
With a little water, I almost got like a bacon note on the front, on the nose. Like a candied bacon.
Yeah, I'm mixed if water is helping this one or not. It's just, I'm not getting anything different. It's the same, and I think I liked it better on the higher ABV scale.
I'm with you. Yeah, I feel like the nose changed a little bit for me with water, but the palate, it actually just kind of thinned it out a little bit, like thinned out the profile that I was getting before. So I actually prefer this without water.
Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely a keeper. Again.
Big time. Yep, that is really, this whole lineup has just been this. Don't show it yet. All right, so before we get to the last one, I did want to make a note to everybody who is listening. So we are going to be releasing 12 whiskeys. We'll show you the full list when we're done here with this last whiskey. And if you order 3 or more bottles from this outturn, you will receive a SMWS beanie for your head. And it's really cool because we didn't get one to show off. So we're saving those all for members. But yeah, so for 3 bottles or more from this outturn, you will receive a SMWS beanie, and it's snowing everywhere. So what great time. It was even snowing here in Georgia early this morning. So it will keep your noggin warm, and the whiskey will keep your belly warm. So I did want to make note of that before we get into this last whiskey, which when I saw it, I was like, wait a second, like this, wait, I got to do some research, and this is kind of messing with my head. So this is going to be a lightly peated whiskey, and I've never seen this, at least here at the Society. So I'm very excited to pour this in my glass and taste it because this is a first for me. What about you? Have you tasted or seen anything like this before?
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. Even me, I had to do a double take on this one. So this is interesting. And I haven't I had just a little sip just to kind of see where it was at for this lightly peated profile. And, I'm actually questioning if it could be in between lightly peated and peated.
Interesting.
But
it yeah, I definitely had to question if this was like a typo or what exactly we were dealing with here. So do you want to introduce it and I'll toss up all the details, or?
You bet.
All right, go for it.
And a one like no other. Cask number 1.246. An 8-year-old Speyside, lightly peated from a second fill ex bourbon barrel. Bottled at 64% ABV.
Dan Clark says, what? exactly what I said. I saw that and I was like, wait a second. I was like, this doesn't make sense. I was like, there's clearly like, there's a lot of whiskey moving in and out all the time. There's definitely a typo here, but no, it is not. It is definitely peated distillery number 1. Yep.
We wouldn't lie.
We are not lying. Yes. What the heck? What the heck is right? Or as my mother-in-law tends to say all the time, what the hell? So, yep. All right, well, let's get into it. And
Even SMWS Australia is tuning in, and they're like, peated number 1. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Matt Bailey from the Australian team, who, if you're not following the Australian team over in Australia, Matt and his whole team is absolutely wonderful. So I definitely recommend making sure you're following them on social media as well. Matt is full of all kinds of whiskey knowledge, and they have great streams, and they have a lot of fun over there. So I hope soon that we all get together and have some good old-fashioned worldwide fun with some society whiskey.
Good question from Pickley Doo. That's wild. Was the spirit peated, or is it from a refill barrel that held a peated whiskey? That's going to be my guess, because this is from a second fill ex-bourbon barrel. So my guess,
that would be my guess too.
Yeah, that first barreling probably had a peated whiskey in it. So very similar. Now, Glenlivet did do that with one of their Daduras. They had an Dadura cast strength peated that it was Glenlivet whiskey in a cask that had previously had peated whiskey in it, and it was really pretty good.
Yeah, this is. So the nose, I don't pick up a lot of peat.
No, it's kind of furniture polish, whiskey ABV coming out at you. It's a little bit of citrus and a little bit of vanilla.
I'm definitely getting the citrus. I'm not getting like peat or smoke or anything that would even, like, in a blind, if I was just nosing this, I wouldn't say, oh, this is a peated whiskey, or this is going to be a whiskey that has peat in it. I'm definitely not getting that on the nose.
Right.
It's almost like very light and citrus and like summery on the nose. Like it's very like Speyside type of quality on the nose. Like just.
I just got cucumbers again.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But yeah, like that cucumber vibe. Like it's very just like bright and fresh and like very just welcoming on the nose.
A little earthy, a little vegetal, sweet.
A little earthy, a little vegetal, little like citrus sweetness.
Yep.
Little right,
almost mushroom.
Oh. Yeah, like if you smelled like a pack of like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raw. I mean, say
like raw mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. Wow. On the there's the peat, the smoke. It's see, I don't even know that this is lightly peated. It's a little bit stronger than that. I mean, it's almost like a medium peat to me. It's definitely
I think this is just more than slightly peated to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should be like its own category. Like basically everything we've like tasted tonight is a wash. Like it doesn't belong, and like these are all in like categories of their own, flavor profiles of their own. So this is bizarre. What a bizarre night in tasting. Yeah. Like this whole thing is wild.
Now, citrus and vanilla, as soon as I got it in my mouth, before I could even breathe, or smell it, it was the citrus and the vanilla sweetness was coming out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I swallowed it and was able to get the air in over it, the peat jumped out at me. And like I say, I guess it's a light peat, but it's a heavy light peat, I guess you could say.
It's just slightly more than lightly peated, like just a hair more than lightly peated.
Yeah, because you're thinking distillery number 1, and you're thinking the lightly peated profile, And you're like, okay, let's see what lightly peated is. And then you're like, well, what? There's more in there than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I think this is like, so for me, like, I don't, that big vanilla, like I get big vanilla on this actually, like huge, like it's like vanilla ice cream almost for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I usually find that kind of note in Distillery 53. Like that is like such a marker for me with Distillery 53. And this gives me a little bit of that. Like it's like a lightly more like diluted version of like that 53 kind of profile. Like big vanilla. There is definitely like a citrus, but more of like an orange citrus to me. Um, but I mean, this to me is just like big vanilla bomb on the palate, and then you do get that like little whisper of peat that comes in, and it's like, oh hey, I'm here, surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could give this to anybody blind. They would never guess
No,
what
there's
distillery.
no way. There is no way. There is no way. It would be interesting to give this to somebody like Charlie McLean, like blind, and like see, like somebody
Yeah.
who's tasted like a crazy amount of whiskey in their life, and like see what they have to say about it, because this is just weird and wild and unique and just like totally off its rocker.
There's a little bit of tobacco on this one as well. A little bit of leather still right up front. Moving into those peat notes, vanillas, citruses. This is really surprising. This one's really
It's
surprising me.
it's really surprising.
And that's neat at 66 per 64%.
Oh,
I'm gonna add
which
a couple.
honestly, I know we've had 560+% whiskeys before this, but it is like it is soft. Like there is a softness about this
Yeah,
whiskey that I was not expecting.
yeah, I would agree.
And I think like if you're curious about getting into the peated kind of category, I mean, what an avenue to get into peated whiskey. Like you're getting kind of like the best of both worlds with this, and it's wild. I'm gonna add a little water.
Wyatt Hazy is asking, and I don't know this bottle. Maybe you
I
do.
don't either.
How does it compare to Delicious Moorish Proposition? What a great bottle
Yeah,
that was lightly peated. Yeah,
I don't remember that one.
anybody will have to rely on everybody that's watching. So Daniel H is asking, what a unique bottle. I'm usually not a huge fan of this distillery. It sounds very interesting. That's not the one I was looking for, but that is a good comment. And I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like this distillery. I have several even of their core range. But it was, Bill Monteith. I wonder how many casks like this Distillery One has laying around. Now
Yeah,
that
I don't
could
know if
be, is there a chance that we bought it? The SMWS bought the cask and then we recasked it into the second fill.
I mean, or I don't know. I don't know if this was a cask that Distillery One made this decision, or we made this decision, or where we got the cask from made the decision. I'm not 100% sure. But whoever did it, pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks.
Well, and I'll tell you, and so when we were before we do the live stream, outturn tastings here, we kind of always rank the bottles. We go, what order should we taste them?
Yeah.
And this one being a 9-year-old and in the lightly peated profile, most of the times we'll stick the peated ones towards
At
the
the end.
end, just because
Yeah.
you don't want all that peat on your palate. But when I saw a 9-year-old lightly peated and from distillery number one, I thought, well, for sure we can move this up in the lineup. We can do this earlier because the peat's not going to be that strong in it.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I better at least taste it beforehand to make sure, to kind of confirm, that lightly peated. And then I was like, yeah, that doesn't belong at the first part of any tasting.
Definitely belongs at the end for sure. I mean, the peat is definitely there and it's definitely pronounced. But I do just love that like vanilla. It's like peated whipped cream.
Yeah.
Like it's vanilla, and there's like that nice sweetness, and then you get that like lovely just like wisp of peat at the end. And it's really exciting. And I think Pickly Dew was saying that there have been some other SMWS ones that were interesting. And he said mushroom sorbet comes to mind, and I think that was part of the triptych, if I'm not mistaken, the dessert triptych from the distillery, and those were outstanding. I have one up there on the shelf, and it's really fantastic.
So I did add 1 dash of water, and it really helped with the sweetness, and even the vanillas brought more of those
Yeah.
out. Some of the citrus, light citrus notes. So I just added a second, what I would call dash of water here to kind of see what happens. I actually did like it with a shot of water in it over neat. It really kind of helped open it up. Before, it was a lot of the tobacco and the leather and the peat to me with the slight citrus and slight vanillas. And then the water kind of took the tobaccos and the leather and kind of moved them down the scale and moved the citrus and the sweetness up. So maybe, I guess, if you're liking the leather and the tobacco notes, you might not want to add water to it.
I just added some water too, and it is really nice with water. Like it really does. Like I kind of felt like it didn't expand as much on my palate without water. Whereas with water, I mean, it gets under your tongue, on the sides, it's on the roof of my mouth, like it's in my nose, it's in my sinus cavities, like it has infiltrated everything with a little bit of water. Yeah,
Even the second,
this whole lineup, crazy.
The second dash of water didn't hurt it either. If anything, it even helped bring out, I think, more other notes, and even the finish is even clinging on better. This one's taking water, very nice. But yeah, I kind of thought maybe it would at 64%, and with that light peat on it, we'd see. But very surprising, very surprising.
Yeah, what a lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been like, if this is any like just even like indication of what the rest of the year is going to be like, we are in for a wild ride this year, because this was crazy.
Someone did ask earlier if we knew, are there any rums coming up? And I haven't looked that far ahead.
I have not looked that far either, so I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
If you want to send us an email, we can definitely look for you and at least kind of get an idea of maybe what is to come. But as far as a limit, I don't think there is a limit on anything for this outturn. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. I have not kind of looked at all of the fine details yet, but I don't recall seeing a limit on anything. Yeah. So shall we share the whole list of everything that's coming out?
Yep. Yeah. And someone just asked a little bit ago too if we was going to have that. So yep.
Yeah. Let me pull it up.
12 bottles are at 1 p.m. Eastern. This was 6 of the 12. So.
All right. Well, there is the full list of everything that is coming out tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So take your screenshots, get your pens, your pencils, your crayons, whatever you have at hand to write all this down. There's some interesting little treats in there. We have a 39, which I'm always a big fan of. Those 39s are always really stellar. Another 66, that is our bottle of the month. So if you are in the bottle of the month, that's 66.206 Magnificently Manky is going to be the bottle of the month bottle.
That does remind me, somebody asked if the bottle of the month would apply to the 3-bottle purchase for the beanie earlier.
I believe so, yes.
Or does it are you gonna have to be 3 bottles on one ticket?
Track
it. I don't know.
That is a great question. It would have to be all in one for us to be able to keep up with it, to hold orders and all of that, just because it's all manual. It would have to be all in one. So if you are in the bottle of the month program, I know that gets processed before. So if you place additional orders that equal 3 bottles plus that bottle of the month bottle, Again, just leave us a note at checkout to combine with your bottle of the month, or give us a call in the morning and say, hey, please hold my bottle of the month because I want to add bottles from this outturn. There are a few different ways to do that. And again, you can always call us, and we're happy to kind of take care of all of that by phone.
Oh, I lost you. Maybe you guys lost me. I don't know. Is that Jenna or me? Maybe we timed out. Anyone? Which is, we lose Jenna? All right. Yep. Okay. I wasn't for sure if that was, I saw she froze up, but on my end, it could have been me. So she was answering the tough questions there. And I see Jerry Duggan is asking, he says, sounds like that'll be a 1 per bottle. And I think you're talking about distillery, the 1246 here. I'm not sure on that. I haven't seen that anywhere. That would be a one bottle per purchase. So assume that it's not for now. And then multi-casking Charlie is asking, he's new to the SMWS. Is there a top 5 list or awards of what was offered in the previous year? And I can tell you, I've brought up, because of doing this YouTube side, I brought up to Ben something that we should look at the end of the year now is probably doing like a top 5 of our best whiskeys from last year. And so it's under consideration, I would say. It hasn't been ruled out, but it hasn't been ruled in. But it's something I'd like to do, and at least say, hey, here's a look at the past year. Here's some of our favorite whiskeys that we've had from SMWS. John Coling is asking, would the Burns bottle count as part of the 3, assuming it was purchased with the other 2? Yeah, Jenna knows more on that end than I do with the beanie. So we'll have to wait for her and more clarification there. So. And Bill Monteith, thanks. He says our customer service is always top notch. Well, I'll tell you, so most of the time now with me on board, there's Jenna, Zach, or myself. For 90% of the time, we're the ones answering the phones. Occasionally, you may get Brianna, and if times are busy, Tom or Ben will jump on and help out. But I got the crash course coming on at the late part of November, early December. With the Christmas rush, I got the crash course in answering the phones. There's Jenna.
Our power just went out. Sorry.
Oh, is that what it was? Wow.
Yes, we just had a power outage. We're having like crazy winds here, so it just decided to go out, and so sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I'm a pro
So,
at guessing on answers.
yeah, I mean, you've done this a few times, so yeah. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah.
That's
So
better. I think we're ready to
we're
wrap it
done.
up.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah. So I guess you went over all the fine details. 1 o'clock tomorrow, give us a call or place your orders online, and
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well,
Here you go. Here's a good question. Max Kruger. Not a niche question, but since y'all ship from his neighborhood in Queens, are there ever any plans for local pickup options?
we do not offer that because we are not the one. We arranged to have those sent out to you guys, so that is not what we do. Um, so that will not be an option.
Yeah, we have a separate company that handles the shipping option for us. So that's all. I guess that would be all up to them though. And I don't know if they ever have that in their
I
plans.
don't. Yeah, I do not know if that is something that they ever plan on doing. But
Josh Dilworth says bottle of the month, question mark. I'll pay you guys for another bottle of amazing whiskey per month. So yeah, if you want to get on the
yeah,
bottle of the month club, just call us up and say you want to get on the bottle of the month. So what we do is we'll put you on a list. And then each month when that bottle is chosen and shipped, then we bill your credit card at that point. And then you can call up and ask to be taken off the list at any time. So.
Yeah, and the cool thing about bottle of the month is that, when we kind of plan out what the year looks like for everyone in bottle of the month, we always just try to go after a cask that's a little different, a little, more unique, I guess you could say. But over the course of the 12 months, we hit every single flavor profile. So you'll get a different flavor profile every month in the bottle of the month, and it's super easy. There's no like minimum or maximum time that you have to be involved with it. You could try it for a few months if you like it, and it just guarantees you that bottle. Whereas sometimes you'll see bottle of the months go live on the website to kind of everyone who's not in bottle of the month, and there's like 5 or 6 bottles left of it. So it's just a good way to guarantee those really awesome bottles. Yeah. Well, all right. Wow. What a weird day. Like technical difficulties, power going out, like these whiskeys that totally just caught me off guard. And we're really stellar. So I guess I'll take a wild way to start the new year.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks, Jenna, for joining.
Yeah. Thanks. It was great to kick off the new year with you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
So we will be back with more. Go for it.
When we're done, I like to close out with our saying.
Oh.
If we're done.
I like it. Go for it. Yeah. Go. Let's do it.
Just remember, SMWS whiskeys are not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sanj, everybody.